Hi friends, and welcome to Course Takes McDonald's Assessment Test Complete Preparation Program. We are here to ensure that you absolutely ace your upcoming assessment test with McDonald's. Alright my friends, we've got tons of material for you to talk about today, so let's get started right away. So in order for you to be able to ace your McDonald's assessment test, you're going to have to ace two types of tests. Well, the first test is the personality assessment test, and then the second one is a situational judgmental test. Alright, so we're going to talk about both these different types of tests in the next sections. So let's start by just defining what our goal is. Our goal is to make sure that you absolutely master these two types of tests: the situational judgment test and the personality assessment. Okay, and yes, my friends, you can prepare for these tests. A lot of people feel that these are the kind of tests that you really can't prepare for. You just gotta go in, you gotta be yourself, you've gotta, answer questions that first come to your mind. No, the reason for all these tests are to filter out candidates. That is exactly why employers have tests like these, like McDonald's. They want to filter out candidates that are able to meet or match their job description appropriately, and they only interview candidates who are better fits for their job, which means that in their mind, they already have an ideal profile for the kind of job that they're looking for the kind of candidate that they're looking for. So you've got to be able to prepare well and choose answers that will get you as close as possible to the appropriate candidate that McDonald's is looking for. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to help you ace this test and make sure that you absolutely come out a winner when it comes to acing both your situational judgment test as well as your personality test. So let's look at the differences between those two tests first. Well, let's talk about the personality assessment. Okay, so these tests are really defined to measure a candidate's internal characteristics such as feelings, attitudes, motives, and so on. Okay, now this might sound at first like a really sophisticated test that you can't really prepare for and whose results you're unable to affect, but the truth is that you can. Okay, these tests are going to supply the respondent with direct questions for which the respondent must provide an answer. Okay, so let's take a look at an example, a sample question that you might get on the test. So here's an example. When I daydream, I find myself drifting off. The answer is either true, neither B is neither, or C is false. Okay, so give it a shot right now. What would you really answer in this particular case if you were interviewing for McDonald's right now? Let's just say for a customer service associate position. So what would you answer? Well, sometimes, people might think, well, I'm just honest, and when I daydream, I actually do find myself drifting off. So maybe I should choose a true. Or, well, I don't really daydream much, so maybe neither. That sounds like a better option, B. Or C, you might be honest. Well, when I daydream, I do find myself, just coming back on track immediately, so I'll choose C. Well, the best answer in this case is really C, false. Why? Even though A and B could be answers that might work, because if you're honest and if you're just being yourself, maybe A or B could be good answers, but the best answer here is C. Because think about yourself. If you put yourself in the position of a customer service associate at McDonald's, a lot of your job is to be able to be focused, is always to be, working in a fast-paced environment. It's always about, working well to serve your customers. They wouldn't want a candidate, they wouldn't want an employee to, just drift away when they start daydreaming. They want people to start getting back on track, moving fast, and getting on with their job as soon as possible. So the best answer here is a false, because that's the kind of candidate that they're looking for. You see how you can actually prepare for these questions if you just start putting yourself in the position that you are trying to interview for? Let's take another example. When building something, I prefer A, working in a team, B, neither, or C, working by myself. Again, let's just take the example of a customer service associate at McDonald's. Well, your first thought might be, well, am I going to be working in a team? Will I be building something? Okay, great, I will be building something. So will I be working in a team if I'm a customer service associate at McDonald's? Neither kind of seems like a, weird answer because it shows a lot of indecisiveness. So you want to eliminate B. Let's think about C, working by myself. Now, as a customer service associate, would they prefer a person who likes to work in a team, or would they prefer a person who likes working by themselves? And the answer should be pretty obvious, that it's working in a team. That's what great companies are all about. They want people to work well in teams, especially when they're building something. If they're coming up with a new hamburger or a new process, they want everyone's opinions. They want to be able to work in a team together, be able to solve problems together. And that's how you answer these questions, my friends. As you can clearly see, if you start putting yourself in the shoes of the position that you're interviewing for, if you think about the ideal candidate, the ideal person in the particular job that you're interviewing for, the answers start becoming a lot more simple. And that's how you answer these personality assessment questions. Okay. So there's one principle that you've got to follow when you're answering these personality assessment types of questions. Put yourself in the shoes of the position you're interviewing for and then answer the question. All right? Always think about the competencies, the skills of the role that you're interviewing for. Put yourself in that person's shoes and say, hey, what would be the best answer now if I was already a customer service associate at McDonald's, or a cashier at McDonald's, or a manager at McDonald's? Whatever position that you're applying for at McDonald's, think about that particular position, think about the skills, the competencies, and then answer appropriately. Okay, so don't just go by your gut. Don't just try to speed up. Don't just try to think about, the first answer that comes to your mind. Don't try to just be super honest. Okay, you've got to think about the position and then answer appropriately. Now let's look at the second type of test that you'll be asked in your McDonald's assessment test, which is the situational judgment test, okay? And these have been gaining a lot of increasing popularity over the past few years, and they really measure an individual's ability to decide on effective ways of handling real-life situations, allowing employers to evaluate job candidates' behavioral skills. Okay, so in general, the format here is very simple. You're going to be presented with a scenario that represents some sort of a conflict, and then you're going to get a bunch of different responses, and you have to choose a particular response. Now, these can get tricky, okay? So you've got to, again, remember the tip that we used for personality assessment. We talked about putting yourself in the shoes of the position who is doing that job and then thinking through answers. That's what you've got to do again. You've got to think about the particular position that you're applying for. Think about the competencies, the skills, and what would it require for you to be able to solve this particular problem. So let's take a sample question here. So a customer calls the customer service line. He was on this line for a long time. He says that, hey, now I've finally gotten to a customer service representative, but I've been waiting so long. I'm in a hurry now, and I just don't have a lot of time to speak. So which of the following is the most appropriate response from the representative? Okay. So this is the situation, the conflict that has been presented to you, and you've got these four options: apologizing for the long wait, suggesting a better time for the customer to call when the line is less busy so that he has time to discuss his problem, proceeding at your usual pace in order to work through the customer's problem, adjusting yourself to his behavior, and showing urgency. So the first thing you've got to do in order to be able to, answer this question is really try to find out what the problem in hand is first. So, there's a lot of verbiage in this question, but let's just get to the problem. And the problem here is really that the customer is in a hurry. So it's that hurry problem. So you've got to figure out an answer choice that will help match the problem about the customer complaint right now. There might be a lot of peripheral data that you might read into, but you don't want to worry about all that. You just want to focus on the problem in hand, which is, look, there's some sort of a hurry that the customer is. How do I solve that problem? Okay, so let's go to the answer choices. Well, apologizing for the long wait. Well, that's not a bad choice. So let's keep that in our repertoire. Maybe there is a better answer choice, but this is not a wrong answer. It's a good answer. Okay, maybe you have to apologize as a customer service representative. Number B, suggesting a better time for the customer to call when the line is less busy so that he has time to discuss this problem. Well, that's a bad answer, right? Like, that doesn't show good customer service. A customer's been waiting so long. He finally gets online with you, and the last thing you tell him is that, well, why don't you just call back some other time? So we should clearly eliminate B. C, proceeding at your usual pace in order to work through the customer's problem. This already seems like a very passive, a very negative answer, right? It's pretty much opposite to the hurry problem that we identified in this particular question. So you can clearly eliminate C and say, look, it's a hurry problem. I'm not helping that problem here. I'm just going to go work at my own pace and do my own thing. So C you can eliminate. Let's look at D and see if we can eliminate D, and then A would be our best answer. Well, adjusting yourself to his behavior and showing urgency. Well, this is a good answer because it solves exactly what the problem is, which is the customer's in a hurry. Well, if the customer's in a hurry, you should also start being in a hurry. You should start showing urgency towards the customer and solving his problem. So between A and D, D seems the more appropriate answer that is matching exactly what we looked for above in the problem, which was all about going into a hurry. So as you can see, my friends, there are a lot of tips and tricks that you can use to be able to solve some of these situational judgment type of questions that are going to be asked in your McDonald's assessment test. Okay? Now, I want to also tell you a little bit about how we, CoachTake, can help you prepare, because we've done a lot of the work for you. We've created a comprehensive course to ensure that you ace your upcoming McDonald's assessment test. And I'd love to tell you a little more about it. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about our company, CourseTake. At CourseTake, our mission is to help every student and professional ace his or her interview. And we do that through company and position-specific interview preparation. We've helped over 500,000 students and professionals in over 100 countries globally. My friends, we are the #1 provider of interview preparation material that is company and position specific. We don't provide generic information for you to help ace your interview. We will help you ace your interview for the particular position as well as for the appropriate company that you're interviewing for. Hey, a generic interview process might work for one company, it may not work for the other. You've got to get specific. You know, the interview process at Microsoft is different from the interview process at Amazon, and is different from the interview process at McDonald's. So you've got to make sure that we prepare appropriately, okay? And that's what we do at CourseTake. And so we've prepared a comprehensive course to help you ace your McDonald's assessment test. And it really consists of the following sections. This entire course will first start by teaching you a little more about the personality test preparation, because I remember I said there are 2 types of tests as part of your McDonald's assessment test. There's the personality test piece of it, and then there's the situational judgment test piece of it. Okay, we're going to teach you techniques and tips and tricks on how to ace your personality test. So we're going to cover a lot of theory first and give you tips and tricks and what to avoid, and how do you actually ace these questions, and how do you pay attention to certain instructions that are given on the test, etc. So we're going to give you all those details. Then we're going to go into practice. We're going to give you 233 questions to practice across 4 different sections. And we're going to give you suggested answers that you should follow, which will help you get your interview, which will help you get your McDonald's assessment test covered in a breeze. Okay, so that's going to be our approach. It's about practice, a lot of theory initially, and then tons of practice, and then suggested answers that you can pretty much use, because these are answers that have been tried and tested with tons of candidates before as part of our McDonald's assessment test preparation. Then we're going to move into the situational judgment test, which we call as SJT. So again, just like before, we're going to start by how do you ace your SJT. We're going to give you tips and tricks, just like I gave you a few tips right now. We're going to give you tons of other tips and tricks on how to actually ace your SJT. And then it comes down to practice. We've created 5 situational judgment tests, all right? These are practice units that will help you absolutely ace your upcoming McDonald's assessment test. Okay, each of those 5 tests consists of 10 questions, and we've got answers with detailed explanations on why we chose that appropriate answer. So there's tons of practice, my friends. You've got if you combine them all, you've got about 300 questions to practice with tons of answers, as well as all the theory in both video as well as a written format. It's all there for you. If you purchase right now, we would get you started right away. So if you have your test coming up, I wouldn't wait. I would get access to all this material immediately. So I request you to come join us, get access immediately, and I have no doubt that you will move forward in your McDonald's career. You'll move forward in your McDonald's job search process, and you will absolutely come out a winner with your McDonald's assessment test. All right, my friends, best of luck. Take care, and I wish you'll join us, and I'll see you in the members area right now, where you get access to all the materials and the test materials immediately. Take care, and I'll see you. Bye.